Good morning, ladies and distinguished guests. On behalf of 1st Battalion, 4th Marines, Lieutenant Colonel Jonathan A. Wagner to the battalion's deactivation ceremony. Today's review is being executed by the Marines and sailors of 1st. Now taking his position in the reviewing area is the Commander of Troops for today's ceremony, Major Matthew S. Zopp. United States Navy.
Let us pray. Dear God, bless the China Marines today, as you have for over 1 year. May their sacrifice who fought and were injured under these colors. May their wisdom and our comradeship never depart from our conversations. For those who march under these colors today, may their willingness to serve in war or peace never cease to inspire the next generation of Marines and sailors. And for our enemies, good Lord, dissuade any delusion that they may have about our nation's readiness. Make it clear that if and when they create the necessary conditions, the China Marines will unfurl these colors, take up arms, and do whatever it takes to fight and win any clime and place. God bless the China Marines today.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Present-day reviews in the Marine Corps have their basis in both history and tradition. The past formation of troops on one long line at close intervals made possible the massing of firepower from muzzle-loaded muskets of yesterday. In those early days, the line of battle was just that, a line of 2 or 3 ranks, and looked much like the parade formation you will see today. The adjutant forms the line for battle. The adjutant for today's ceremony is First Lieutenant A. Bile. Ladies and gentlemen, now taking his position in the reviewing area is the commanding officer of 1st Marine Regiment, Colonel Jason C. Armas, and the battalion commander of 1st Battalion, 4th Marines, Lieutenant Colonel Jonathan A. Wagner. Activated 1 August 1922 at Santiago, Dominican Republic as 1st Battalion, 4th Regiment, 2nd Brigade. Deactivated 1 July 1924. Reactivated 1 September 1924 at San Diego, California as 1st Battalion, 4th Regiment. Elements participated in mail guard duty in the Western United States from October of 1926 to January 1927. Deployed to Shanghai, China, February 1927. Assigned during April 1927 to the 3rd Brigade. Detached during January 1929 from the 3rd Brigade. Detached during February 1938 from 2nd Marine Brigade. Reactivated 1 February 1944 on Guadalcanal by redesignation from 1st Raider Battalion, 1st Raider Regiment. Assigned during April of 1944 to 1st Provisional Marine Brigade. Reassigned during September of 1944 to 6th Marine Division. Participated in the following World War II campaigns: Philippines, Solomon Islands, Bismarck Archipelago, Guam, and Okinawa. Redeployed during August of 1945 to Yokosuka, Japan. Reassigned during November of 1945 to Fleet Marine Forces Pacific. Participated in the occupation of North China, March to September of 1945. Reactivated 8 March 1946 at Tsingtao, China, and reassigned to 6th Marine Division. Reassigned during June 1946 to 1st Marine Division. Relocated during September of 1946 to Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, and reassigned to 2nd Marine Division. Deactivated 18 November of 1947. Reactivated 2 September 1952 at Camp Pendleton, California. Deployed during August of 1953 to Camp Nara, Japan. Relocated during February 1955 to Camp Oke Bay, Territory of Hawaii, and assigned to 1st Provisional Marine Air Ground Task Force. Redeployed during May of 1965 to the Republic of Vietnam and reassigned to 3rd Marine Division. Meritorious Unit Commendation, Streamer with 2 Bronze Stars in Vietnam of 1967. Participated in the war in Vietnam, May 1965 to December of 1966 and February of 1967 to October of 1969. Relocated during October of 1969 to Camp Hansen, Okinawa. Elements participated in the Mayaguez operation, May of 1975. Reassigned during February 1979 to the 3rd Marine Division. Reassigned during May of 1980 to the 7th Marine Amphibious Brigade. Reassigned during January 1982 to the 27th Marines, 7th Marine Amphibious Brigade. Detached during June of 1987 from the 27th Marines. Elements participated in operations in the Persian Gulf, April to December of 1988. Relocated during 1989 to Camp Pendleton, California, and reassigned to 1st Marine Division. Participated in operations Desert Shield and Desert Storm, Southwest Asia, September 1990, April of 1991. Participated in humanitarian assistance operations, Operation Provide Relief, Somalia, August to December of 1992. Elements participated in support of relief efforts, Kenya and Zaire, July to August of 1994. Participated in Operation Vigilant Warrior, Kuwait, October of 1994. Participated in Operation Southern Watch, Iraq, 1996. Elements participated in Drug Interdiction Operation, New Mexico and California, United States, January and March of 1997. Participated in non-combatant evacuation operations, Operation Safe Departure, Eritrea, June of 1998. Deployed in support of Operation Enduring Freedom, Kuwait to January of 2003. Participated in Operation Iraqi Freedom, Iraq, from March to December of 2003. July 2004, February 2005, April to November of 2007, and October 2008 to April of 2009. Elements participated in humanitarian assistance operations, U.S. Gulf Coast, in response to Hurricane Katrina in September of 2005. Elements participated in humanitarian assistance operations in Pakistan in response to flooding from September to October of 2010. Elements participated in anti-piracy operations in the Gulf of Aden in September of 2010. Elements participated in Operation Inherent Resolve in Syria from March to May of 2017. And finally, participated in Operation Guardian Support in the southwestern United States from August to October of 2019.
March to command, final review.
Aye, sir! On and renew! Aye!
During the pass and review, please rise and render an appropriate salute as the national colors pass before you. At this time, all former commanders of 1st Battalion, 4th Marines are invited to join Lieutenant Colonel Wagner for the pass and review. The commander of troops for today's ceremony is Major Matthew S. Scott. The 3rd Marine Regiment Band is directed by Gunnery Sergeant Justin Bruce, and the drum major for today's ceremony is Gunnery Sergeant Jeffrey A. Lawrence. The company commander for headquarters and service company is Captain Sean K. Connor. The company commander for company A is Captain John B. Watson. The color sergeant for today's ceremony is Sergeant Logan D. Lawrence. The company commander for Company B is Major Taylor J. Kitasawa. The company commander for Company C is Captain Ryan M. Sohn. The company commander for Weapons Company is Captain Noble F. Shermerhorn.
Detail. Halt. First Battalion, 4th Marines colors. All present.
Yes, Command.
Aye, aye, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for honors to our national colors. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, the commanding officer of 1st Marine Regiment, Colonel Jason C. Armas.
March to final command interview. It's quite a strong saying. I don't know if you could hear me, but I said March to final command interview is quite a strong saying, and those words really ring true when you're sitting here today and you're looking at these magnificent Marines in front of us. But this isn't a time to be sad or sorrow or feel sorrow. How could you when you look around and you see so many of the Marine Corps' legends and heroes amongst us today? What an incredible reunion this has turned out to be. And it should be a moment of joy. I tell you, General Savage, General Tiernan, Sergeant Major Soto Rodriguez, our Gold Star families, fellow commanders, sergeants majors, Marine sailors, families, friends, our distinguished guests, the members of Victor 1-4, past and present, good morning. Today, we're gathered here to pay tribute to one of the most storied battalions in the history of our beloved Corps, 1st Battalion, 4th Marines. This is a bittersweet moment as we honor the legacy of this extraordinary unit, while also looking forward to its future transformation as the 12th Littoral Combat Team, part of the 12th Marine Littoral Regiment stationed in Okinawa, Japan. So this morning, let me begin with a word about legacy. Since its activation in 1911, Victor 1-4 has fought nearly every climate and place, from quelling violence and bringing stability to the island nation of the Dominican Republic, to their service in China during the interwar years, where they earned their moniker, the China Marines. From their initial defense in the Philippines in World War II, holding the line through unimaginable hardship until their surrender on the island of Frigador, to their redesignation from the 1st Marine Raider Battalion back to 1st Battalion, 4th Marines, where they fought with unmatched valor in two of the bloodiest battles of the island-hopping campaign, Guam and Okinawa. Through the dense jungles of Vietnam, from the deserts of Iraq to the rugged mountains of Afghanistan, this battalion has written its name in the annals of history with blood, sweat, and sacrifice. Who could forget the hard-fought battles during Operation Iraqi Freedom, the cemetery in Najaf, where the enemy learned firsthand the ferocity and determination of the Marines of Victor 1-4. The counterinsurgency campaigns in Al Anbar province, where this battalion stood fast in the face of adversity, proving time and time again that Marines do not falter. Those were hard days, and this battalion met each challenge with courage and professionalism. But today is not just about battles fought and won. It's about the Marines and sailors who served in this formation. Warriors who gave everything to accomplish the mission. Men and women who left behind families and comforts. Who endured heat, cold, hunger, and fatigue. And who carried their brothers and sisters when they could not carry themselves. We honor you. We honor your sacrifice. And we honor the memory of those who gave their last full measure of devotion. As we mark this moment of redesignation, let us not mourn the end of an era, but celebrate the beginning of a new chapter. The Marines of Victor 1-4 will continue their proud tradition of service as they transition to the 12th Littoral Combat Team. The challenges ahead will be different, but no less demanding. This transformation reflects our Corps' commitment to staying ready for the future fight. Adaptable, agile, and lethal. The legacy of Victor 1-4 will live on in the Marines who carry its colors forward. To the Marines and sailors standing here today, know this: you're part of something greater than yourselves. You're the torchbearers of a lineage of warriors who have shaped history. And as you prepare to take on new missions, whether ashore or at sea, you will do so with the same grit and determination that has defined this battalion for over a century. And lastly, let any adversary who sees this as weakness or loss of capability take heed. They are gravely mistaken. The fighting ferocity and lethality of Victor 1-4 will live on in the Marines and the 12th Littoral Combat Team, and they will remain ready to meet any threat with unyielding resolve. So as we case these colors, as we case the colors of 1st Battalion, 4th Marines, let's do so with heads held high, with gratitude what has been, and with unwavering confidence in what lies ahead. Semper Fidelis, and may God bless the Marines and sailors of this battalion, past, present, and future. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the commanding officer of 1st Battalion, 4th Marines, Lieutenant Colonel Jonathan A. Wagner.
Good morning. Major General Savage, Sergeant Major Soto Rodriguez, thank you for being here today. Your Golden Star families who traveled to be with us this morning, Mr. and Mrs. Altiera, Ms. Garcia, Ms. Bath, Ms. Rod, the Haley family, Ms. Hanks, Colonel Armis and Sergeant Major Escobar, thank you. I'd also like to note the presence of Mr. Garcia and the Speak Their Names Foundation, Mr. Cole from the Warrior Reunion Foundation, Friends of the Battalion with our sponsor city, Laguna Niguel, and the Laguna Niguel Military Support Committee. Former commanders, Colonel Flynn, Colonel Tolliver, and former Sergeants Major of the 1st Battalion, 4th Marines, fellow commanders and senior enlisted leaders, Sergeant Major Peoples, Lieutenant Colonel Godby, Sergeant Major Kissick, who traveled from the 12th Littoral Combat Team in Okinawa to be here this morning. Thank you for making the time to be here with us. I would also like to note two of my mentors who are 1-4 Marines are present here this morning. Colonel Moran, sir, thank you for being here. Not physically present, but online and watching, always watching, Mike Borneo. Marines and sailors, no matter your years of service, friends and family, welcome. A few thank yous are in order. To the team that put this together, Sergeant Major Cleveland, First Sergeants, Mrs. Sabrina King, you are the living bond between 1-4 past and present. Thank you for all the long nights, the weekends, and the tapping of details that are often addressed before they ever come to me. Leaders of all ranks who tirelessly worked to do the setup today, to rehearse, to make this happen, thank you. And lastly, to my family, many of you know this, however my wife Jackie does not. Jackie, on an MRE heater it says you put the food in the heater, then you add water, you lean it against a rock or something, it literally says, or something. You are that rock or something, not just for me, for our boys, for our friends, our community. Ladies and gentlemen, she runs our household. She's a team mom for our boys' high school and travel baseball teams. She's the secretary of the Cincinnati Little League for the past 4 years, and she has her own professional career. So I'm convinced there's no stronger woman than the one that agreed to marry me. Thank you. To Jonathan and Noah, you're growing into outstanding young men. I love to watch you demonstrate resilience. Boy, do I, much to their chagrin, I love to watch them struggle, to grow, to find a way to win. And I love to watch how you guys go about life, figuring out how you're going to make a mark on this world. Thank you. For those in the audience who have previously served in 1-4 or are currently serving, if you could please go ahead and stand for me. And I want you to go ahead and give yourself a round of applause because you are the legacy that the Marines and sailors that you Now I'll address the Marines and sailors currently serving in the battalion team. You all were charged with one of the most unenviable tasks that a Marine or sailor could be given. That was the composite to train for employment as a relevant, a combat credible force to serve as our nation's forward-most deployed crisis response force, and perhaps the most challenging region of the world today. And to do it while knowing that today's events were always on the horizon. And make no mistake, each of these tasks was and is a no-fail mission. We strive to avoid a zero-defect mentality, but we've all experienced just how vital our mission was, how sensitive that climate is in that region, and we've demonstrated an appreciation for how important it is to live up to the pride and the legacy of our brothers and sisters that came before us. For all that you have done and all that you will do, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen in front of me today, every commander and leader in this formation has demonstrated the ability to set the example, challenge their Marines and sailors to succeed beyond their own expectations, to meet the standard which makes our United States Marine Corps the best damn warfighting force that our nation has to offer. But today's battlefield in many ways is a bit different. It has changed, and the service is executing modernization efforts to operate in increasingly complex scenarios. This ceremony is a milestone event in that objective. We all have a choice for how we view today's redesignation. For many, I understand the news of today's ceremony had a somber tone, but I also need you to understand the momentum our service is gaining. Today, we bear witness to the casing of a unit's colors. The impact, however, that you are not able to see is the reaffirmation of a promise to support our partners and allies, as well as challenge our adversaries living and operating west of the international date line. Everyone present knows the history of this battalion and the events that took place in the Philippines. The charge to defend that piece of terrain and its cost. Many are familiar with the sacrifices made at Sugarloaf Hill and the actions taken during Operation Beacon Hill. These Marines and sailors have seen the photos and heard the stories of warriors who came before them, who fought valiantly during the Battle of Najaf. Those events remain foundational to our identity today. What you might not be aware of is what our allies saw from these Marines and sailors this year. As chance would have it, During this last deployment, we operated in many of the same areas that I just mentioned. I personally had the opportunity to re-enlist Corporal Trahan on Hacksaw Ridge. The Marines and sailors chewed the same dirt spanning Naha and Kekido. They trained allies in Busan, South Korea, and most notably, our service leadership and State Department representatives did an excellent job at maintaining our situational awareness of tasks that lay ahead, while we were postured to respond to two typhoons that tore through those same islands we defended over 80 years ago today. This battalion understood that charge. Our allies knew that we were prepared to assist if requested. That is a trust, an accountability, and a benefit that cannot be surged. 1-4's reputation is founded on 114 years of selfless service, dedication to country and corps. Every Marine and sailor on the parade deck and those in the stands are the embodiment of that legacy. I personally had the opportunity to bear witness to it, and I could not be more proud of the successes that this battalion has achieved while serving as our nation's forward-most crisis response force for 3MEF and the U.S. 7th Fleet. The actions taken to redesignate this battalion were no small task. It took months of planning, communication, and supervision to responsibly case these colors. And putting it into even greater context, the Marines and sailors of this battalion over the past year have executed the most dynamic and challenging PTP and deployment that I've personally witnessed in 23 years of service. To the Marines and sailors who are observing today's ceremony, I need you to know that the warriors behind me not only represent 114 years of history, but that your legacy is now ours. Please share in the comfort that our heritage, spirit, and the tradition of success on the battlefield will not just continue in the 12th Littoral Combat Team, but every Marine and sailor in this formation will carry it with them to their next assignment, to what I count to be no less than 14 battalions across our service. 9 alone in the 1st, 5th, and 7th Marine Regiments, 5 across the 2nd and 3rd Marine Divisions, and battalions training our next generation of warriors at the School of Infantry West and East. The rest, as many in this audience, will spend the remainder of their days out of uniform, carrying the torch and doing whatever it takes to ensure our legacy remains strong, relevant, and continues to breathe fire into the warriors that follow. Thank you, and God bless.
Ready? Please. How about peace?
From Commandant of the Marine Corps to Commanding Commanding Officer of 1st Battalion, 4th Marines. In accordance with McBull 5400, 10 January 2025, in support of Force Design 2030, 1st Battalion, 4th Marines is redesignated as 12th Littoral Combat Team as part of 12th Marine Littoral Regiment. Signed, Eric M. Smith, General, United States Marine Corps Commandant of the Marine Corps.
Retire the colors.
Aye, aye, sir. Right, stand. Whew. Right, stand. Whew.
Ladies and gentlemen, to honor those who have served in the 1st Marine Division, the division song, Waltzing Matilda, will now be played. The song originates from Australia, where the division maintained a training base in World War II and prepared for the island campaigns. Over the decades, 1st Marine Division Marines and sailors have marched off to war to this historic tune. We ask all those who have served in our division, from World War II to those currently serving in the Blue Diamond today, please stand and be recognized. We respectfully request all others remain seated and silent to honor those absent who gave the ultimate sacrifice, and those present who have served with the 1st Marine Division.
fight our country's battles in the air, on land and sea. First to fight for right and freedom, and to keep our honor clean. We are proud to claim the title of United States Marines.
Dismiss the battalion.
Aye, aye, sir. Company commander, this is your company.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the ceremony. On behalf of the Chief Colonel, Jonathan A. Rogers, and the Marine and Sailors of 1st Battalion, 4th Marines, thank you for your time.